Welcome back, my fellow degenerates. Week 10 is off to an amazing start with this Ravens Bengals game, and I'm so excited to talk about it and everything going on in the NFL. Let's just say, though, hopefully you aren't playing against Jamar Chase, Burrow stack, because if you are fucked. You're almost as fucked as the decision making that the Bengals had listening to the analytics of going for two. I mean, I'm so tired of these analytics call. I mean, just kick it and go to overtime. Like, what are you doing? Anyways, moving on, week 10, we have a lot of key injuries. Some guys might be coming back, like CMC, Nico Collins. So you got to pay close attention because that's changing every day. Definitely taking to check before you submit your starting lineups. Also, some other big names like Debo, Drake London, etc. So um, this week, I will be doing a solo report. Don't worry though, Dan sent in his picks. He got called off to work. He's got to like change some guy's diaper, something like that. I don't really know. I didn't know that's what he does for work, but apparently he changes diapers. So poor man, great Saturday for him. I'm sure he's loving that. But the only thing he is loving is he did beat me in our predictions last week. Um, it is what it is. He went 6 for 8. Shout out to him. He's got to get it right every once in a while. I went 3 for 8. But yeah, so our picks this week, I'm feeling a lot more confident about my picks this week. Some exciting players and some great games. So will do much better than that 3 and 8 I had. So, anyways, that's about all I got. So, hope you guys enjoy the video. As always, good luck in all of your fantasy football endeavors, unless you're in one of our leagues, though, because then luck ain't gonna save you. Peace.
In audio.
And 3, 2, 1, action. Welcome back, my fellow degenerates. Week 10 is started already, and it has been a banger so far. I mean, that Bengals Ravens game, absolute nail biter, came down to the wire. I don't know about you guys, but I hate these stupid advanced analytics that every team is using. It's just I don't know why the Bengals go for two there, regardless of those like missed penalty calls. We saw like multiple holding, Burrow getting hit in the face, like just avoiding that. It's like, why do you go for two? Just kick the field goal. There's 30 seconds left. Like, I don't know. That kind of stuff frustrates me, but it is what it is. Shout out, great game by the Ravens and Lamar going off as usual. Burrow, another great game, and Jamar Chase, the story of the night. 250 yards, 3 touchdowns, putting up 55 points and uh, full PPR. So let's hope you're not going against him. Thankfully, I have him in a few leagues, and I'm not going against him in any. So it's just nice to already see some of my week's projections be almost 200 points. So we love to see that. But unfortunate out there for those facing the Burrow Chase stack, you're pretty much done for. So let's hope you don't need to win this week. uh, anyways, this week, week 10, there's a lot of injuries that are going to come into play, especially with some key fantasy players. So let's just go over this so far. All signs are pointing to Christian McCaffrey playing. He's still listed as questionables. Kyle Shanahan came out and said he is playing, so he will be back. Love to see it. I would play him if you have him. Obviously, you can't sit him. Hope it's a good game for him. He's definitely going to be a workhorse. Same game, Debo. Debo's been questionable all week, but things are pointing that he's going to be play as well. Debo, obviously a lock for a high end wide receiver this season with Ayuk out. Jawan Jennings also injured. So I think CMC being back helps Debo a lot, really opens up the offense where it's not just Kittle and Debo. It's the whole trio of Kittle, Debo, CMC. So you're always starting Debo if you have him. The other big name stud coming back is Nico Collins, but we got to hold our horses a little bit. He's been practicing a little bit on Friday. It was a limited practice. There's no designation yet so far, so we'll see. He's still listed as questionable. I hope he plays, but he may not play. In the case that he doesn't play, though, it's definitely like a good week to play Tank Dell again. So the only thing is they are taking on the Lions Sunday night. So make sure to have a contingency plan in place if you are starting Nico. And then some other unfortunate news is Chris Olave. I mean, we saw last week getting absolutely destroyed with a concussion over the middle. He's definitely missing this week. Rap Sheet said it's most likely he moves to the IR. Two concussions this close together, no bueno. So he's been seeing some specialists, but I think Olave is probably done for the foreseeable future. Maybe he comes back for the fantasy playoffs, but with how the Saints are looking, not too exciting. Notable also is Keon Coleman. He will not be playing due to a wrist injury. And Amari Cooper is also questionable with, I believe, a calf or wrist injury. So we could have a lot of open targets on that offense. So that's good news for Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. And then Jonathan Brooks may be playing this week, still unknown. They're playing in Germany. So it's an early start, everyone. We have another 9:30 game this week, Eastern Standard Time. So we had a couple weeks of no London games. You got to pay attention here. Jonathan Brooks may play. We still don't know. Canales hasn't said anything. He's been practicing, not limited in any way. So that'd be exciting to see. That being said, Chuba Hubbard did just get an extension. He's looked great so far. So I don't think there's any reason to rush Brooks coming back if he isn't 100%. So I think if he's back, it's a good sign for him that he's 100%. Um, Another players that's out, Michael Pittman. We had those weird thing where he was going to go to the IR, then he ended up playing, and then who knows what happened. He had a terrible week last week. I mean, all of the Colts did with Joe Flacco just bombing out there. So he's missing the game with a back injury. That's the same injury. So not looking good for him. Brian Robinson Jr. also out this week. So, I mean, I guess get your Austin Eckler starting. I don't know what year it is, but he's almost 30 now, but he's good to go. So he's going to be leading that backfield. They are playing the Steelers, so it might be a little bit of a grinder game. So we'll see. Drake London also, he left last week. He's got that hip pointer. Coach Raheem Morris said he looking like he's going to play. So good news for London owners. And then last one, unfortunately, not only affects him, but his whole goddamn team. Trevor Lawrence, shoulder injury, not looking like he's going to play. So if you have Evan Ingram, you have Brian Thomas Jr., who's also a little bit banged up, but he's been playing through things, so he'll be fine. But just not good for them. And then their backfield, absolute mess with Bigsby and ETN. So not really looking to play anyone on the Jaguars with Mac Jones, of all people, at the quarterback. So, but who knows with how things are going this year? Maybe Mac Jones pulls a Winston and throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, anyways, let's get into reviewing last week picks from me and Dan. You'll see on the screen right here, last week, Dan, much better than I did. Won't go too into depth on these things, but Dan did really well. His only real misses were he said Singletary was going to do well and Sam Laporta. They're both still fucking bums. Other than that, Herbert and Bo Nix both get great games. Chase Brown, not only last week looking great against the Raiders, Thursday night he looked amazing as well. He's like a top 12 RB for sure, must start. So if you have Chase Brown who cost almost very little draft capital, like you love to see it. So you're starting him always moving forward. Devontae had a great game versus the Texans popping off. JSN went absolutely nuclear, scoring 37 points. He's a bye week this week, and then DK will be back. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm still not like all in on the JSN train. As a flex, yes, but I still don't really like relying on him. And then Evan Ingram was a hit as well, getting 14 points. So good performance there. And then like I said earlier, I struggled last week. A lot of these misses weren't terrible, but actually some of them were pretty terrible. So I'm not going to defend myself too much. Darnold did well against the Colts, so he was a hit. DeAndre Swift played well again. Not amazing, but he got his 14 points, so he was a hit. And then Taysom Hill, it was so obvious he was going to do well. He got into the end zone, so he had a great game against the Panthers. But that was about it for my hits last week. So Derek Carr missed. I mean, not only did he play poorly, he killed one of his teammates, so we don't like to see that. Bucky Irving, the whole just did not look great in the backfield. He had 10 touches, which led the backfield, just not exciting. Michael Pittman, 1 catch, I believe, for no yards, terrible. DJ Moore, one stat that's been getting passed around on Twitter, obviously, is how DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, and Keenan Allen are all top 10 in most inaccurate targets. So, yeah, at least you can just blame Caleb Williams, who's been very underwhelming this year. He's had a couple of good games, but he's just all over the place. DJ Moore, I'd started to panic a little bit if you have him. So, And then I thought Hawkinson was going to come back and have a good game, but just not there this week. He didn't have a full snap share that we expected. So you take that one. I like him moving forward this past next week. So I think one of us may have actually picked him. So all right, week 10. Dan obviously not here. I'm going to go over his picks as well as mine. And this week, I'll throw up the points projected on the screen just so you guys follow a little bit more, hold us a little more accountable. We haven't been doing that, so you're just taking our word for it, which is never wrong. But Dan's QBs of the week are actually facing off against each other, and it is on Monday night. Tua and Stafford. So this is actually a decision I'm making in one of my leagues of which one of these guys to start. Everything is projecting this game to be a shootout. So Stafford, obviously, with Cup and Puka back, things are looking great. Tua, things haven't really come together since his return with Tyreek and Waddle, so we're still waiting on that. I think I'm probably leading Stafford a little bit, but we'll see. And then my quarterbacks this week, I'm going with Jared Goff. I mean, Goff has been underwhelming in fantasy recently, but that's just because the team's too good. Like, you can't fault the guy. I mean, he's putting up 85 yards and they're scoring 50 points a couple weeks ago. Like, he's only projected for 15 against Houston. I think he gets it done this week. Obviously, no rushing upside for Jared Goff, but unless they somehow get 200 return yards against the Texans, like I think he's going to hit that limit. So we like that. And then another pick, I've picked this guy before this year. We'll see if it works out this time. It did not last time, is Daniel Jones against the Panthers. So Daniel Jones projected for 17 points. He still has that rushing upside. He got into the end zone last week on a rushing touchdown. They're playing the Panthers in Germany, so we'll see how it goes. I think he hits that 17-point mark. I don't think he smashes it by any means, but I'm looking for him to get 20, 21 points, something like that. Moving over to the running back position, this week Dan has Aaron Jones as his first pick of the week. I like this. They're playing the Jaguars. Jaguars are pretty hampered, as I mentioned earlier. Trevor Lawrence most likely not playing, so I could see the Vikings getting out ahead early and Aaron Jones getting the 25-30 touches. So we like that pick. And then Tyrone Tracy versus the Panthers. I mean, Tracy's just a god, right? He's leading all rookie running backs in yards from scrimmage, despite not playing the first few games. He's just so electric. We love to see him. So he's only projected for 13 points. He's going to get involvement in the passing games. He was a wide receiver in college. So this 25-year-old rookie is going to ball out against the Panthers for sure. And for running back for me, I'm going back to the old faithful Kareem Hunt. They're playing the Broncos. Broncos have been all right fantasy-wise. They're struggling a little bit, but they played the Ravens last week, so it's not really fair. But I think it's going to go similarly against the Chiefs this week. So I think the Chiefs are just going to – they keep the games close, but Hunt's definitely getting 100 yards and getting in the end zone, maybe a couple targets out of the backfield. And then my other pick this week is Austin Eckler. Coming into this year, I never thought I'd pick Austin Eckler, but – Brian Robinson Jr., he's out, and Jaden Daniels looks great. So, yeah, wheels up for Eckler. He's definitely going to break that 12-point projection that he has. All right, wide receivers of the week. Dan going with George Pickens, projected 13 points against Washington. They've had a little bit of a struggle on defense so far this year, but they did just trade for Marshawn Lattimore. One key thing to note here is Lattimore may actually miss the game with an injury. He's got a hamstring nagging him, so we'll see. If he plays, obviously not great news for Pickens, but he might not play. Everyone knows Lattimore for locking down Mike Evans, so maybe he locks down Pickens if he plays. And then Dan also picked Darnell Mooney this week. I like this pick a lot if London doesn't play. Mooney's just kind of a boomer bust guy. I think he's scored less than 10 points 4 times this season, and he's had 4 games over 15 points. So it's really a boomer bust, kind of that Jaden Reed, Devonta Smith-esque. So we'll see if that hits against the Saints. Obviously, Saints look pretty bad. I think they're going to continue to be pretty bad. So, and then my first wide receiver pick this week, Deebo Samuel. We touched on him at the beginning. CMC back, Deebo playing, Ayuk out. Juwan Jennings most likely not playing. I mean, I think the offense is going to start to look a lot better. Debo's the most important piece on it. So he definitely hits the 14-point projection that they have on him. And then Khalil Shakir is playing against the Colts. Shakir might be the only wide receiver playing on the team. Keon Coleman is definitely out this week. Amari Cooper is looking like he's probably out, but it could be a game time decision. Regardless if Amari plays or not, I'm playing or playing Khalil Shakir. Um, Last season and this season, he has some of the best catch rates of anyone, actually the best catch rates of anyone in the NFL. He catches over 80% of his targets. No one else does that. So he really is just like the faithful underneath guy for Josh. He's going to get that 5, 6, 7, 8 catches for 50, 60 yards, maybe find the end zone. So we love him again. Dan's pick of the week, he's going to for tight ends is TJ Hawkinson. I missed last week, so sure as hell Dan's going to hit on him this week. They're playing the Jags. Jags are a bunch of Jags, so Hawkinson just needs 11 points. He's going to get that, I think. And then Hunter Henry as well against Chicago. Chicago's had a good passing D, but their offense has been so bad that I believe the Patriots are going to get plenty of opportunities. So he's proving like he's Drake May's favorite target so far just because the wide receiver core is so underwhelming outside of Pop pretty much. So I think Henry will get his 5, 6, 7 targets and then like 40, 50 yards and might find the end zone. So we like those picks. And I am going back to Taysom Hill actually this week. So Taysom Hill's usually like a one-hit wonder, and then he falls off the face of the earth, and then he comes back a few weeks later and then wins another matchup for you. Like the most frustrating fantasy play, but I think he pulls it off once again. They're playing the Falcons. A lot of injuries there. Obviously, Olave is out. Kendre Miller is on the IR. There's a whole wonky thing about Dennis Allen hating Kendre Miller. Obviously, Dennis Allen was fired, but he put Kendre Miller on the IR, even though apparently Kendre Miller's already 100%. So he got kind of screwed there. I don't know what's up with that. Like the rest of the coaching staff was like, now that Dennis is gone, they're like, yeah, it seems like Dennis Allen played a big part in that. So it's just like talk about a weird relationship. So I'm sure more will come out about it eventually. But Kendre Miller was placed on the IR, so they don't have a choice to play him even if he's 100%. So, and Jamal Williams, total nothing burger this year, unfortunately. So it's really just like Kamara, Taysom Hill, Shaheed's out. So what do we got? Bub Means, Mason Tipton, and Foster Moreau, Juwan Johnson, that kind of thing. So yeah, we like Taysom Hill this week. He'll probably find the end zone again, get a couple targets, maybe throw the ball. Who knows? And then this guy, we keep going back to every time we bring him up, we're like, we hate this guy, but we're gonna pick him. Dalton Kincaid. He's playing the Colts. Kind of same boat as Shakir, obviously. Keon's out. Cooper might be out as well. Josh has looked amazing lately, playing at MVP level. So I think Kincaid gets the targets. I think he might find the end zone. Like, not too worried about that. So let us know what you think about our picks this week. I'm willing to bet that I'm going to do better than 3 for 8 that I did last week. Let's see, Dan goes 6 for 8 again. But that's all we got for week 10 projections. Some closing thoughts, though. Some of these games this week are a little bit less exciting, but I'm hoping that they turn to be good games. Like this Giants Panthers game, I feel like it might be a pretty good game. It's at 9:30 start, so we got football all day. 6:30 if you're on the West Coast. I can't imagine getting up for the Panthers Giants at 6:30, but we're degenerates here. We're definitely gonna do it. So, and then we got the 1 o'clock window. We got Drake May and Caleb with the rookie battle. I think that's gonna be a great game. Just a lot of excitement. Colts Bills, another one. And then primetime Texans. I just want the Texans to be good again, but all things are pointing to Detroit just smoking them once again. But yeah, as we get closer, right now it's Saturday, Sunday tomorrow. Just make sure to keep checking your injured guys. London, Debo, Nico, these all are game time decisions. So it's really important to have a plan in place for him. Nico Collins is playing at 8:20 on Sunday night. You don't want to have him in your lineup expecting him to play, and then it comes down to 8:15. They rule him out, and then you're like, oh, shoot, what do I do? At that point, everyone's probably played. You can't drop him. So you're not going to drop Nico Collins for like the third string Xavier Hutchinson or maybe Khalif Raymond. Like that's what you're probably looking at. So try and get someone now just to sit on the bench, drop one of your other depth pieces, drop a tight end. You don't need more than one on your team. So, yeah, just plan ahead for that kind of thing. And that's about all I got. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll see you next time. Peace.